Hey, so yeah, a little bit late. It was burgers. That's why. You were all put on the back burner for burgers. So, if you didn't watch the announcement or read the announcement, the past two Space Marine bits didn't have game audio. Isn't that fun? I would have noticed sooner if I had been up to date on my watchbacks, but I'm not because I was there and I don't really like listening to myself. Anyway, so we'll be recursing through where we left off in the first episode. We'll try to hit some of the similar points. It'll be a mismatch, but you know, unlike the last couple of times where I've had to fork the timeline, this will be for everyone, not just the YouTube VOD boys, but for you here now or later now, the now that you're in. Where did we leave off on the last one? Okay, I have my notes. Excellent. I saved my notes. I didn't delete them immediately like I tend to. So, I had mentioned at some point in time during the first Space Marine video that there was a game in the works called Dark Millennium Online. There have been things said about Dark Millennium, and well, I'm going to spout back a few of those just to make sure that everyone is up to date on what it is that I'm talking about and what I'm wistfully wishing had come to pass. So Dark Millennium Online was a production of Vigil Games, who did Darksiders. It wasn't Relic, but, you know, you get the idea. After a while, these names of these subsidiary companies that are working under THQ kind of blend together. And to be fair, Darksiders is accidentally a solid 40k game. At least the first one is. You know, War even looks the part of a librarian. And I don't think that that is an accident. So, Dark Millennium Online. It was supposed to be an MMORPG. That's what they pitched it as. That didn't happen. There are a few bits and bobs here and there that look like trailers and stuff. Let's see if we can find anything. Just like what's left behind. Looks like we've only got trailers. That's okay. We can snag this ancient-ass Gamescom trailer, courtesy of IGN. And we can play some of it for you. Let's just find the spot where they stop flashing their logos. There we go. Because, well, if they want any kind of advertising, they can pay me for it. I think that's fair, right? Like, that's not crazy. That's a reasonable thing to ask. Are you ready? 'Cause it's from THQ's actual account, so that's cool. Make sure that's lined up. Yeah, we're good. Took me 10 minutes to do this. Oh, you know what? Let's... I know. Oh, it only comes in 720, does it? Okay, cool.
It is a time of war. Demons, aliens, and heretics descend upon the Imperium of Man. The battle line.
Did the audio just drop out? Looks like it on my fucking monitor there. Streamlabs, you're so good these days, properties. Give me this. Done. Let's try again. Okay, we're looking good now. Christ on a cracker. What a mess, right? All to explain an old, dead, fucking no longer going to happen MMO. Anyway, you can see what it is that people would have been excited about. Looks a lot like Space Marine, doesn't it? Only with just like an ability hotbar. I imagine it would have played something similar to like a Guild Wars 2. With just how the animations and everything look. So that was Dark Millennium. And again, you can see that it is pretty similar to Space Marine in style. Done almost undoubtedly to make sure that what we would be looking at wouldn't be absolute trash. Oh god, he's added me about it too. He's added me about it. I'm gonna fucking bury this man in the sand somewhere with the rest of the radioactive waste. I hope he watches this. Do you hear me, you son of a bitch? I hope you fucking click on this, and I hope you hear me addressing you directly with my voice. God. Yeah, I am. The witch is right. I'm gonna have to clip this and link it to him. Anyway, my terrible radioactive waste friend aside. We didn't get Dark Millennium before we could. The studio that was working on it was dissolved as THQ went bankrupt. What we did get was Eternal Crusade, which is a cruel joke. And by the time that we are done here, we will have a look at Eternal Crusade. It won't be long. It's only going to hurt for a moment. But this is an important scar for you to have. Okay? Okay. So just, you know, soak it in while it's good. Alright? So you have something to hold on to when the branding iron comes. That being said, let's hop into Space Marine. You know, finally, after 10 minutes of fucking around with, like, just streaming a video, you know, a trailer. That's what we were doing. That's what I was doing. Ah, shit, you know what I just realized? I've already deleted those settings again. I learned nothing. I learned nothing. Here have I. Nothing at all. Lost things. Nothing at all. Alright, AMD Space Marine campaign. So, in the new time, in the new now, we're back here.
The Orc has a scent for us now. Damnable creature!
Okay, we got noise, we got video.
But he did.
Okay. So we pick up the plasma pistol here. There it is. It works like the other plasma guns. We can charge it and fire it, and we hold R to vent heat. That's how it do.
There.
Touch.
That lift.
We'll get to that lift. So something else that we can kind of mix up in the timeline, because it's fresh in my mind. We have ourselves a redo. It's a rare, precious opportunity afforded to us by this medium. We can explain a little bit how the game works, because I don't think I had been doing that up to that point. So, the primary strengths of this game are that I can switch between this and this by just pressing different mouse buttons. This is mouse 1, this is mouse 2. Quite literally, that's it. That's all it takes. It's simple and intuitive to go from shooting to slapping, and you must do both. It's a good idea to do both. Slapping has a modicum of depth. You can access your combos for any number of weapons at any point in time. They're not too fucking nuts, but there you have it. Makes sense, right? Press it in a certain number of sequences. F is the stun button, E is the execution, when you see that little logo there. You get different combos with different effects. This one builds mad real fast. This one is good for crowd control. This is good for just getting a quick stun. You can also launch with a stun and move through other combos, so on and so forth. It's not complicated, but it does allow you a solid set of tools with which to deal with things. Like the switching between shooting and slapping, it is simple, intuitive. It grants you the ability to relatively quickly gain competency. After all, Titus is supposed to have been at this for quite some time. Oh hey, there's one of them,
I want to give you a proper greeting.
Them weird boys. Actual name. want to give me a proper greeting, but I don't want it. I think I'm hitting his head. The better option, however, is to stick this to his shield and let nature take its course. And then we can get in closer and get some free hits in while he's recovering.
Rush the Space Marines!
Well, he was a little bit far away, but such is life. Sidonis, get your fucking meaty head out of my way, man, okay? There, that guy's done. So we can beat him to death with his shield. Now, something to note about these shields is that they're apparently able to stand up to a whole lot of things, so these would be great if we would just pick them up. Oh, goodbye. Are you dead, dead? Yeah, he's dead, dead. Something else that we'll get into at the end of this is that we'll poke around a little bit at the customization options available for the multiplayer, which was the only thing to receive any DLC for Space Marine, and I think that's a shame. It's not that the multiplayer is bad, it's that it's predictable. It's a horde defense, which is fine for a little bit, and then there's some deathmatchy stuff, which is fine for a little bit, but 40K has a whole lot of underserved and unexplored crevices, I think, as far as what the setting is capable of.
How deep does this facility go? The manufacturer?
It's a big hole.
Far deeper.
Uh-huh.
The whole generator room is actually suspended above a venting shaft.
Incredible.
Suspended? Yes. In case of catastrophic overload, the whole room can be shunted away into the depths.
Where it will ruin other things. So yeah, there's underserved and underappreciated bits to this universe. Drogon.
Colder than a spaceman's smile in here.
Yeah, and colder than a witch's tit in a brass bra, am I right, boys? Are you done? They're done. Witches don't wear brass bras, that would be uncomfortable. Anyway, within this setting, you can do a whole lot more than just wave defense with your bros like it's Gears of War, or deathmatch like you're a fucking like a middle schooler in, you know, 2001. There is the opportunity for exploration, xenoarchaeology of all kinds, fucking digging up ancient secrets of mankind's own past, and I mean, you know, someone's also got to grow all this food. There's an opportunity for expanding on medical and augmentation gameplay. It's a great big fucking galaxy, is the point. And I know the title says there's only war, but there's a lot of things that go into war outside of just shooting the boy. And a lot of ways that you can wage war. We still have not received a game that is anything like the nightmare that is the Inquisition. And I call them a nightmare, knowing them intimately. They are my faction of choice within this universe. But, you know, there isn't a 40K game that requires you to apply both soft and hard power to coerce your way into getting what you want.
Obtain the power source at the core of the generator.
Okay.
Initiate decoupling from a control console.
Understood.
I'll fucking decouple your control console. Got him. With your Fallout Boy ass haircut.
The access points.
I have engaged the decoupling sequence.
Yeah, engage it. The sequence.
Chamber secure until the power source is exposed.
Do the do. But yeah, you know, this means that there's room for a detective story if you wanted to tell one. There's room for westerns if you wanted to tell one. Heists, there's Indiana Jonesery. Oh, that just clips right in there, does it? As well as big war stories, heroic ones, more Vietnam-esque ones. Fucking, you know, you could do a 40K platoon if you really wanted. Yes. Right now, that is me. See, I'm as convincing as Drogon.
Whatever it is, I want it!
Hold back the greenskins, Captain.
You hold them back. I'll do what I want.
Generator shortly.
guy's testing me today. It's probably because of, you know, that yesterday that never came. Oop. Apparently I was too late on pressing E. That's okay. Because now he's fucking goop. He's garbage. It's great. It works out. And I'm just gonna punch these guys until I feel better about myself. That's how bullying works.
Get it into its canister.
We're out of vengeance launcher crap. Yeah, I gotta press this button, right? Pardon me. Fucking Scoozy. If they kill me during the cutscene, well, that would be not only deserved, but hilarious. Ow. There. Sample my map.
That damn orc will kill us all.
Yeah, I understand. I'm working on it. I'm doing a thing.
Quickly!
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna use my hands. I'm gonna put my hands right on this glow rock. It's fine. See, I did it. Pushy. And there we go. And boy, that canister has a real telltale look to it, doesn't it?
Leandros,
Yeah, please.
The Inquisitor insisted you could not have survived.
Yeah.
Well, I did. And I have his precious power source.
Yeah.
We set a rendezvous in Hab Center Andres. These tunnels will spit us out there eventually.
Yeah.
Fine. Continue heading toward the Hab Center.
Sorted Fruits, how's it going, dude? We're redoing the ones without game audio. How's it going on your end? Speaking of, redos, game audio, that sort of thing, I had mentioned previously that Space Marines come in all kinds of flavors, and they do. The flavor we have right now is bland, but he's serviceable, and that's just sort of how they are. Going alright, nothing too special? Yeah, that's kind of the way of the world right now, isn't it? At the very least, no news is good news a lot of the times. What was I saying? Oh, right, Space Marines. They also come in more interesting flavors, or at least flavors with a gimmick. I'm not entirely sure if, you know, you find them interesting, Lost Things. You may not. But for a Blood Angels mainline game, I don't know if we're going to get a Vampire Lads mainline game, but I mean, yeah, maybe, right? And that is something that was mentioned. Our newest Lost Thing at the time, Assorted Fruits here, had brought up the Blood Angels. That's the vampire flavor. They also come in hairy flavor if you want rug burn. Those are the Space Wolves they mentioned previously. They come in Sad Lad, both Crow Edition and not Crow Edition. More Night Edition would be for the one that is not Crows. They had themselves a falling out with some of their closest buds a long time ago, and they never fucking got over it. Now they wear robes and they literally walk around calling themselves the Dark Angels, which is tragic in another way. Not the way that they meant it to be. They are vampires, that's more Conrad's things. Conrad's dead. Conrad don't count no more. There's another vampire faction. That's on the Bad Boy Space Marines, which we'll meet later. he's kind of Batman for a little bit, and then he got fucking murked. Or maybe not. Maybe it was a ruse. Who knows? It's 40k. 40k's mainline lore makes about as much sense as comic continuity, in that shit just happens, and it's better if you just go with it rather than try to make sense out of most of it. Sanguinus is also dead, though. Yes, correct, he is. Which is why he also doesn't count. You can buy his figure, but you know, these things they don't count. They just happen to be present. Yeah, and that is the Blood Angels Primark. The Space Marines all have a Primark. Well, most of them do. Some of them are second founding chapters, but we'll get into that in a second. A long-ass time ago, the Emperor of Mankind said, "I'm really fucking cool. Let me clone myself." And so he did, and all of those clones came out just a little bit wrong. You know, they either came out boring, or they came out with a unique flavor that no one really wanted to savor. And there you have the progenitors of the Space Marines themselves. They would donate their genetic material. Those fun glands and shit that I talked about previously that we don't get to use in this game. You know, like the one that lets him eat brains and get knowledge from that. Or the one that says that he's got fucking color shift RGB tint skin. Or that he could spit acid. That would be real fucking great if I could spit acid, but they don't let me. I'm not so sure about the waxy substance that lets me survive in a fucking vacuum, but it's all fine. Anyway, the Primarchs all had fun quirks, I guess you could say. I would call them abject failures, but that's a whole other thing. Semi-alive because his ghost shows up on the Black Legion ship because 40k is weird. Yeah. But we're doing a beginner primer, man. We can't hit him with this shit where it's like, also there's Force Ghosts, kinda. They're not ready. Where was I? Right, quirks. So, you know, there you have it with the Primarchs, and some of them were worse off than others. There's one in particular that was prone to religiosity and kind of fucked up everything for everybody else by inviting the Chaos Gods in. And we'll get to the Chaos Gods by the time we hit Chapter 3 of this horseshit. I say horseshit, but I say it lovingly. You already know Lost Things. I've been down the 40k hole and will go down it again, I'm sure. Don't follow me down that. It's expensive and stupid and time-wasty. And Games Workshop is definitely a company that seems intent on going out of business, but we won't let them. And so they continue shambling along, you know. Like one does. This is a bad position. This is a better position. Come to me. They kind of knew what I was doing. Yeah, because of you. I remembered that you were there. Did I get another one in the meantime? I did. Ow. That was unfortunate. I'd prefer if you hadn't walled me just then. Are you killable yet? No, okay, you're just dead. I'll take it. Sordid Fruits. Okay, it wasn't 100% Lorgar, but his chaplain. Or no, librarian, not chaplain. I still blame Lorgar. If, like, one of your best boys shows up and is like, hey, I found these cool new dudes. They say that if we put spikes on things and start eating babies, that would be super rad, so let's do it. And you go, yeah, bro, totally. That's your own fault. That's a failure of the fucking management for not rooting out the worst employee. I don't care. You can keep him. Oh, no, never mind. There's the one. There's another one up here, I think. I'm pretty sure I've missed one. Hello? Yes. There they were. And, well, that leads into another part of the beginner primer here. Librarians, they don't just keep books, even though, yes, they absolutely do. They are trained Space Marine psychics, and psychic powers are something of a thing for 40k. Other people got wizards, we got psychics. And then also want to get complicated literally everything about the Alpha Legion. Yeah, the Alpha Legion has that problem, doesn't it? But we're teaching them what librarians are right now. So not only do they keep books, they also are responsible for cataloging relics and all kinds of, you know, secret dangerous information for the chapter. They're trained psychics, which is cool, and psychic powers within 40k. Oh, this is the Melt-A-Gun. We'll talk about that too.
Priests honor their machine god.
Well, yes, they would. It's their religion. So, I had mentioned that other settings have wizards, we have psychics. It's effectively the same thing. Psychic powers come from kind of an internal gateway into this dimension referred to by a couple of names. The Warp, the Immaterium. You can call it whatever it is you want. We'll know what it is that you're talking about. But you channel those powers, you make your thoughts manifest. It's a real as above, so below kind of magic system, and that's all there is to that. Outside of the way the system actually works, there are some chief consciousnesses that are native to this realm. Either they sprang into being because we believed they did, or they had simply always been there and we fed them enough to where they became bloated and angry. Who knows which. But those would be the Chaos Gods in question, and a brief primer on those. There's 4 major ones. Well, there were 4. There may be 4 again, because it's 40k, and therefore comics logic. They are Tzeentch, Nurgle, Slaanesh, and Khorne. Yes, like on the cob, but spelled fun. It is not spelled like Khorne the band either. No, it's Khorne. It's English, remember, so there's a whole bunch of consonants that don't do anything in the word. These are kind of your 4 major bad boy players. Tzeentch, the god of change and schemes, and he's kind of a doofus. And Nurgle, who's the god of rot and decay. It's definitely not a natural entropy, it's a disease process sort of decay. Got a few of them on the elevator there. Also, kind of a doofus. The biggest doofus of them all would have to be Slaanesh, who got offed because Games Workshop realized that if they were going to try to sell this to a young adult audience, that a god of doing cocaine off a hooker's ass while listening to your favorite Foreigner tapes was not going to sell. And then there's Khorne, who just wants you to break stuff, and he is possibly the biggest doofus of them all. The Imperium has ideals that lead them very, very close to chaos, so it's easy to see when you get into this whole, like, only in death does duty end mantra, why it is that these guys end up being like, well, the bad man got into my brain sauce, and now I'm all fucking crazy. Give me this. Superior mad. Now it'll tell us what it does. It lasts longer. That's it. Slaanesh also only exists because of the Eldar. That's a whole other kettle of fish. We don't meet them in this game, but there are space elves. I told you 40k had something for everyone. And they fucked so much that they gave birth to a chaos consciousness. And that's Slaanesh. Again, no, I'm not kidding. That's really it. Yeah, we found a bomb. It's fine. We have superior mad. See? No one's ever been mad like this before. It's superior. I just want him to stop shooting at me for a second. I think I hear more growls. Oh, did you die or no? Okay, yeah, I did hear more growls. I have to move. Boop. Ah, shit. Oh well. I was talking and looking for the bomb squig at the same time. Such is life. We're back into it. We have to get our mat again. Uh-huh. How far can I make it before? Yeah, there we go. Anyway, the Dark Eldar had their own kind of... Well, the Dark Eldar split off from the Eldar. They're still like, well, if we torture enough people... I'm sorry, torture fuck enough people. We can just, like, trade their souls for ours and therefore live forever. And the normal Eldar are like, sex is the domain of the sinful. And so have resolved to live lives of basically, like, monk-like austerity. They're also effectively extinct, so you get that Tolkien reference in there as well. Which, make no mistake, still heavily influences 40k. Same level as mad as a Death Company Marine. No, probably not. Titus is definitely not Death Watch material or Lost in the Damned material. Titus is a good boy, you know? He's just an alright guy all around. Gimme. Mark Strong's even, calm portrayal is emblematic of the Ultramarines and kind of how it is that they're represented in fiction. Titus isn't even as mad as a Black Templar, who I alluded to earlier. I think it was in the first episode that there are a kind of Space Marine that were racist even by 40k's standards, and that is the Black Templars. They're kind of fucked up dudes. We've been kind of meandering in this primer, haven't we? That's okay. It's a meandering sort of setting. This game doesn't pay much lip service to psychic powers. They kind of treat them as if they're a mystery, but by this point they're pretty well documented. The Emperor was a psychic. Everybody liked that guy. They thought he was real cool.
Captain Titus.
Well met, brothers.
Yeah.
Any idea of our position?
We should be nearing an access point to the surface. The
Okay.
air smells a bit cleaner.
I've had enough of tunnels. Let's get out of here and find the Inquisitor before the orcs do.
Titus doesn't know that we're whole children for life, but that's okay. He doesn't know much. He's not programmed to know much. That's how these guys get made. They listen to learn while you sleep tapes while they're in a fucking pod that helps them not die while they've got all of this new stuff pumped into them, and it means that they're not exactly, like, experienced individuals. They're also notoriously bad at problem solving. They memorize and recite extremely well. They are not plastic thinkers. There we are. There we go. So, you know, a genius level intellect, but in the same way that, you know, your computer could probably pass a test to be called a genius. Frankly, the tech priests are the only ones that beat them out for that. The Necrons are more creative. And those are literally Terminator robots made by a star god. By a star god tricking people into downloading their brains into robots because it thought it would be funny or something. It's, again, 40k. Boy. Oh, hi. The grenade guys came around to get me this time. I kind of appreciate that. I don't have to hunt them down. Alright, into the battlements. Fuck off, sir. Honestly, you guys too. I don't really have time for this. I gotta go and shoot the ones that are shooting at me. Where are we at? That's who I want. And who's left over there? Yeah, because there's always some that survive the grenading. There we go. Forgot the part where the Necros killed said Star God. Yeah, they did, but then another one is around and, like... it fucking... It just kind of goes on like that, huh? So we're down one Star God, we're down one Chaos Consciousness. One of the Primarks woke up recently, as far as 40k is concerned. Because, like, way back when it was Warhammer... It's 30,000, somewhere around there. They had their falling out, and a whole lot of Primarks either died, vanished, or were put in suspended animation because they were fucking, like, turbo poisoned. And one of them woke up because they did a thing. And now he's walking around looking at what the Imperium has done and is like, what the fuck have you been doing? This was not the plan.
So terror demoralized the militia.
Oh, there's ammo in there.
But effective.
This was no strategy of war.
No, of course not.
For orcs, this was sport.
We had that very dramatic conversation in this room. This room, which is habitation. As you can see, living for your average Imperial citizen is not great. It's also highly likely that these stains are not recent. Like, that arm is, because it's still got color in it, but those mattresses may as well have just been that filthy. Your average Imperial system breathes crudely recycled air and eats fungus paste. Lives are cheap in the Imperium, and they get spent like they are.
Medical supplies have been ignored.
Recently has been 3 years when Gilliman woke up. Oh, has it been? See, like, I fucking... there's enjoying 40k, and then there's trying to keep up with whatever the fuck it is Games Workshop is doing these days. They tried to launch a series of young adult novels based in this universe, you know, in this place? In this place. With the fucking creepy tech skeleton telling you that you're late for work, and it's alerted your boss, and they're gonna put you in the grinder to make fucking, I don't know, like a candy bar or something. And they went, well, what if we followed a child soldier conscript while he had wacky teen adventures? And the answer is there are none. There are no wacky teen adventures. That kid isn't going to fucking make it to, like, liking his first girl, or guy, or non-binary, whatever it is that he goes for. He's not gonna make it to commit any sort of heresy, because he's gonna fucking die on the firing lines like about 1 million other gun babies, actual term, in the Imperial military.
Plan is unchanged. Get the Inquisitor and the power source off-world.
Like, this is a universe full of shit people doing shit things, and if you're not down for that, well, then it's not for you.
We are ultramarines.
But it's like, it's not a spot to have some fucking Harry Potter romps.
Dismantle the Titans.
Space Marine.
They're telling me something here, is that I want to use this. Because we're going to be reaching far. This is a laser cannon, and it's the only laser weapon that makes sense. Laser guns are crap. We went over thermal blooming, right? I'm pretty sure we did. Hello? There they are. I'm pretty sure one of those kids got felled by one of those Necrons that do that. Yeah! See, that's...
Orc rocket launchers on the high ground.
I know. I'm doing the thing. There we go. Now he's vapor. That's the other thing about 40k, is that you could land on an uninhabited planet and then you realize that those black rocks aren't just shiny and cool looking. They're fucking robot scarabs that then go and wake up actual Terminator robots sleeping in tomb pods just below the sand. And then they come up, and your friends are fucking Mars Attack style vaporized by Gauss beams, and you get pulled apart by one that's wearing what was left of their skin as a jacket because it thinks that's funny. That's 40k. And I'm not saying that, like, I even want Slaanesh back. I think Slaanesh is a dumb concept. But it's... Even if we take the setting for what it's trying to be and strip out some of the more ridiculous stuff, then there's still not a lot of room for like a Legends of the Hidden Temple fucking Silver Monkey situation with some clever teens who just don't play by the rules. It's not, that ain't here. So, okay. We got a bit in the chat here. Laser guns are really good, not in the context of 40k, but a standard issue weapon that hits as hard as a 50 cal. I remember you saying, assorted fruits, that I sounded kind of like your motorcycle mechanic. So, just imagine this coming from a friendly face. No, it doesn't, and here's why. When you use a beam of energy to excite matter, what you're doing is first you have to get the surface going. The only thing that we're going to get out of a laser gun is a surface wound. It's never going to burn. You would have to keep the beam on it in order to cook through material real slowly. It absolutely does not carry the same force as a 50 caliber round zipping at any kind of speed. Projectiles with mass will always have a greater wounding and therefore, quote, stopping, to use an incorrect physical term, capacity than something that is energy based. It's just the way it goes. So someone saying that they hit as hard as a 50 cal, which I'm not sure on the source of that. I seem to remember a piece of fluff saying that they had about the same stopping power as a 22, and yeah, I buy that. In that, like, the initial burst of cooked tissue might throw someone for a loop momentarily if they're not hopped up on adrenaline. They'll get the whole, like, have I been shot stunning. But beyond that, no. We have problems because the projectile does not have mass. Like that rocket had mass. It was really good. 8th edition. I haven't read the 8th edition. We've been out of the loop for a little bit. If the 8th edition is saying that, it's lying to you about how energy-based projectiles work. Well, and this isn't even a projectile, it's a beam. If I'm not mistaken, stubbers are about 50, aren't they? Stubber is the better kind of weapon that you should probably issue your infantry within 40k. A laser gun is trash. You probably want to give them a stubber because a stubber has mass. But I can see laser guns being useful for like an expeditionary sort of deal, where you can recharge it by throwing the battery pack in a fire. But outside of that, nah, probably don't. Here they come. There we go. That's what we want. It's 40k, so nothing makes sense. Yeah, to a degree. That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to take it at face value. Like the, sometimes the bolter is listed as caseless, but it's very clearly not. Like this is not a caseless munition. There go the cases. Sometimes it's listed that what else do they have going on? Of course there are. That, like, the monofilament wire that Eldar spider launcher fucking things fling on people is capable of cutting through hardened material, and I go, yeah, sure, if enough tug is applied to it, but outside of that, no. Something with a high strength to mass ratio does not necessarily mean that it's going to cut into the material. It'd have to be stronger than the metal is hard, and I have doubts there. I'm sure it's a great binding agent, and it would work great for you know, like ripping apart a mechanized joint that's made out of softer metal. But for when we get into things that are supposed to tolerate ballistics, then I don't think the person wearing it can move the plate with enough force to cause the wire to cut into it.
The machine god will watch over.
Yeah, Eldar shit makes literally zero sense. Yeah, it's all fucking... The shuriken guns are fine. They work in theory. The Eldar Shuriken gun, for those of you that don't know, which I would imagine is some, it's always somebody's first time, are guns that use an EM field on a piece of matter that you insert where the magazine would typically go. It's usually metal, but you can use other things. And it shears off a very thin spot of it and uses the same EM generator to fling it down basically charged rails on the barrel. This works. It's complicated, but like you could. Outside of that, though, I can't make any kind of fucking excuses for the Eldar. They run into the same issue with their laser guns as laser guns in general, that being thermal blooming over a distance, and you know, the beam is going to lose cohesion and therefore be ineffective. Then there are issues like, you know, just cooking the surface, which sounds neat, I'm sure, but it ain't gonna work. The reason I'm not going in here is that we remember from the time that didn't happen, don't think about it too much, didn't happen, this is a really nasty kill box. The orcs did a very good job in waiting for us in a very, very shitty spot to fight. They have gunners on all sides of this, and, well, it makes getting up that hill real bad. And it's better if we do it like this.
Make you bleed!
Boom. Alright, we've made it. We're gonna head up the stairs.
Greenskins incoming.
Of course they are. See? Ow. Yeah, there they are. Oh, we're stuck on the stairs. Titus, move your knees, man.
Boys!
Uh-huh. Yeah, just not gonna let me have it, huh? That's fine. That guy won't make it, at least. But this is a common issue with science fiction. All this talk about their guns, their weapons, how they work and how they don't. What I find interesting is that at least they got the power weapons right. I believe I mentioned this in the last one. If you wanted to make something that would cut with an energy field, this is how you do it. You shape the field along the kind of edge of the blade, and so that the edge is theoretically infinite. You can keep tuning that down and down and down and down and down. On the hammer, which we'll get eventually, it is called Warhammer after all, that same magnetic eddy disrupts molecules and basically softens the material so that when you make impact with this enormous hammer, it breaks. Oh, the Far Side Enclave. Yeah, we'll, Assorted Fruits here is talking about the next game that's up, and, well, in the time that wasn't, I had mentioned that we all suffer together. Not for... Okay, I'll get there. Not for anyone's particular benefit, but just because sometimes some of these things are meant to be shared. The next thing we'll be doing is a game in this universe with a different guy. And different guys that are our friends. You'll see. You'll see when we get there. The faction that we will be playing eventually, you know, next time we do a 40k game, It was, in fact, my intro to the whole fucking shebang. I was way into Mobile Suit Gundam at the time. No subtitle, just original Mobile Suit Gundam.
Inquisitor Drogon, we need to get you off planet before we're overrun by orcs.
You were exposed to the unshielded power source. In the generator room, I saw it.
Yeah, I was there.
You held raw energy from the warp.
Well, I held an object containing energy from the warp.
Alive.
I'm cool.
That's warp energies.
The stuff of chaos. Heresy.
My work against the Xenos has the Imperium's blessing.
Can your blessed work help us against the orcs?
My research is of the utmost secrecy.
Doesn't answer the question.
It's its use without sanction.
Drogon, you have the ability to sanction that right now. It's almost like you don't know you have that.
Consider that your Imperial sanction.
Very well. The power source fuels an experimental weapon at my research facility. The Psychic Scourge. It could destroy the orcs.
Okay.
Didn't think to bring up this Scourge weapon before. The Psychic Scourge has never been test-fired, Sergeant. If it malfunctions, it could crack this planet in half.
Uh-huh.
Options. We fire the weapon and take our chances.
Again, it's almost as if Drogon doesn't know that he could countermand that order. Almost as if, shh, remember the other times didn't happen, you don't know how this plays out.
We aren't far from the plaza.
And what do we got in chat here? Hey, honestly, I like Tau, especially since my second army is Imperial Guard, and Guard v Tau on tabletop is some of the best games I've played. Yeah,
Imperial Guard outpost.
I like the Tau. I don't like some of their equipment stylings. Some of it needs work. The interface between them and their helmets is solid. There's no reason for the helmet to look humanoid and have eyes in all the right places. A single lens will do. But then we need optics that work with that. In fact, their weapons don't necessarily need visible outside optics to begin with. Have them as an option just in case somebody's forgotten their helmet, but if you're going to war, probably don't forget your helmet. But yeah, two shooty armies like that I would imagine is great for positioning. You know, trying to maneuver into locations of advantage, set up killing fields, overlapping fire, that sort of deal. That sounds fun. Rather than someone being like, I deep strike 500 Terminators into your backline, go to hell, asshole, I didn't want to play this game to begin with. It's like, yeah, but, you know, if you already bought the stuff for complicated space chess, at least give it a go, right? Yeah, give it to him. Did you get him? We got him. There we go. We'll get him, yeah, get him with the plasma gun. Man, that's not what I told you to do. Now he's got to be my problem. Ow. I think I took the rocket and two axes all at once. Back in 8th edition, my competitive army was 9 basilisks and 3 squads, 3 mortars. Yeah. Yeah. And like you can, so, again, for those that don't know, basilisks are great big artillery pieces, and then he had artillery infantry on top of that. And the way 40k is played with artillery is that you have these blast templates of varying sizes, and then you roll scatter dice for what it is you're trying to shoot at. With that amount of large guns going off all at once, you can roll the scatter dice, but it doesn't matter where anything lands. You've leveled the field. It's now all just pulp and fucking nonsense. Okay. Yeah, I see you. Come to me. Great. Now where's the rocket child? Thanks for blinding me with your plasma. Appreciate it. I didn't want to see my targets or nothing.
I can't believe we survived that.
Imperium's finest right here, folks.
Inquisitor, your wound is slowing us down.
I can manage.
Brothers, take him to the Valkyries. I will draw the orcs off and meet you there.
Give the power source to the sergeant then, Captain.
No, Drogo. The Orc chieftain wanted the power.
Got rid of the blast sheets for 8th and 9th. Really? How do they do artillery now, then?
Move out.
Or weapons that fucking work in a cone, like flamers and whatnot.
But it's all...
Flamers, which is the hilarious name for flamethrowers in 40k. They actually called them flamers. There's also a creature called flamers. Oh man, that was a bit that we got to repeat too. They apply wounds like normal. What the fuck sense does that make? Okay, well, whatever. I guess, man. I'm not entirely sure why it is that they wouldn't keep the templates for just showing where the radius is, but alright. Because yeah, for exactly the reason that you listed, that would apply enough wounds to just wipe a squad, wouldn't it? Complicated for new players. It's fucking 40k, of course it's complicated for new players. Alright, okay, alright. So, I believe previously we had used a heavy bolter, and that was the witch's favored methodology. We got a taste of mine, and well, we get a taste of it again, this time with the hammer that I told you about. There's a lot of these floating around in 40k. They're typically rare and hard to come by just because you have to do a lot to make them. So, many of them end up storied relics, not handed to just anyone. And you can bet if it's a big to-do, big-name weapon, odds are good, it's a hammer.
Welcome to Evacuation Center.
So I had also said that we would talk about melt-a-guns, that shotgun-like thing that I had picked up and incinerated a room with on that one failed attempt. And what they do is they're kind of using fusion ejections to propel just like extraordinarily hot gas over a relatively short distance, because naturally it's going to dissipate. That's part of the Imperial, and in fact a whole lot of races, anti-armor kit. They come in small, or at least smaller a lot of the times, called the Inferno pistol. I have a special fondness for those. The hammer lets us just automatically win those contests for executions. Well, third army for our new lost thing is a five-man squad of Death Company with jump packs, and they all have thunder hammers. Yeah, I mean, you know, then you get the fucking assault leap, and you can close gaps on armor, and if thunder hammers still apply like shaken and stunned to vehicle crews, then there goes the armor. Alright. That's the other thing that this field does. When you whack something with it, it triggers something within the hammer itself. Likely just like a gyro. You can probably get that with like an accelerometer or something, and you know, then it releases the field, and the field pops and produces an additional impact on this now softened material. Well, I shouldn't say softened, I should say disrupted. That's really more accurate. Hey, we popped his bubble. Come back. Son of a bitch. Alright, well, I'll do this in the meantime, because I don't want you around. Where's your glow friend? Oh, he's back. Thank you. Killed multiple knights that way. Yeah, we'll get into knights. We'll talk about this when we talk about the Titan. I'm not surprised that you've offed a bunch of them with that strategy. It's the Thunderhammer is, you know, it's called Warhammer, so of course it's going to be a big deal weapon. It's kind of like Blizzard, making the spell Blizzard. Just an enormous, ridiculous thing. So their heads exploded when we did that, and that's because all orcs are kind of low-grade psychic, just innately. And the weird boy there, bringing them on over with his weird boy powers, likely linked to them in some way. When he went, they went. Oh, me just landing by that barrel set it off. Go figure. Give me that ammo. Alright, we continue to get our leave on. You gonna tell me I'm out of fuel? Is the fun already over? Is it a no-fun zone, Titus? Nope. Okay. Anybody else here? It's weirdly quiet. We've just been appreciating the architecture, haven't we? Oh, there we go. It's saving. That means there's more stuff. Hey, did you guys, like, you know, want a radio for support or anything? Or are you just, like, going to yell about it? I didn't even know you were here. You could try calling for help. You figure things are bad enough that you may as well field the call, right? That way you did something. You didn't just suck and die. And yeah, our new lost thing, Assorted Fruits, is correct. So the way orcs work, aside from being fungus men, where when you kill one, he drops a bunch of spores and other ones grow out of the ground. No, I'm not kidding.
We owe you our lives.
I am an instrument of the Emperor's will, Trooper.
I guess.
Indicate to me the nearest concentration of orcs.
It's that way.
Masters Plaza is just past this hab complex. It is swarming with the beasts.
Okay. Oh, it's that way. It's that door. Them all being low-key psychic means that when they get together and enough of them believe something, it kind of just happens. One of their common beliefs is that things that are red go faster. And so orc vehicles that are painted red go faster. It's also how it is their technology works. If you were to take apart an orc shooter, which is what they call them, you would find that it doesn't actually function as like a firearm. It works because they think it does. We're getting there. Fuck off, man. Rounded the corner at the wrong time, didn't you, Chief? There we go. There we go. And another wig. Great big one up there. His friends are staggered by this violence. They were really not prepared for this. Probably the most fun race. Yeah, I'll agree to that. They're not exactly... I think the way that I put it previously was that they're not exactly a joke, but you are supposed to laugh. they're part of the setting. It's not that you don't have to take them seriously if you're fighting them or what have you, and it's not that they're everyone's kind of whipping boy. But you're supposed to be having a good time with how stupid and nonsensical they are. They are kind of Games Workshop winking at themselves. The tabletop players are some of the nicer ones. Well, that's good. I'm glad that's been your experience. I have had extremely poor experiences actually playing in person. But then that's typically my luck of the draw.
This is Primus Command.
Oh, there we go. There's some basilisks.
Perimeter. Move to secondary defense positions and hold the line.
This thing.
Welcome to Bastion Primus, Captain. Sergeant Sedona's briefed me about the Inquisitor and his doomsday weapon. He said you require air transport to the Calcus facility.
I do.
Valkyries are the fastest way to reach it, and we have no time to spare.
Your men are already on board their Valkyrie, and the squadron's ready for liftoff. We'll get you to Calcus with all speed.
Thank you.
It's time the Imperial Guard brought the fight to the orcs.
Thank you. I would like to talk about this for a second. So you can see that it is just one big artillery piece on a World War I British tank. And, yep, that's what it do. It lobs shells way the fuck over there, and they're big, meaty, explosive shells. On the front here is a heavy bolter. Typically those are pintle mounted so you can move them around. This one doesn't seem to be. And that's how you see. It's the year... It's fucking... the 41st millennium, okay? And we figured flap was good enough. The Imperium is woefully backwards. You would figure that they'd be going, how about a camera? No. No, fuck it. Stick your head out there. In the front.
Captain Titus, I need a gunner to man the bolter.
Okay. Well, it's a turret section.
Here they come, starboard side.
Yeah, here they come.
Incoming! That was close.
Yes, it was.
Valkyrie 7 here. I've got orders.
Pilot, match speed. I will shoot them off.
We're gonna shoot them off. I mean, maybe. Provided I can get a good line on him. Looks like we got it. Oh, hi. If you're wondering what they're strapped to, yes, that is a missile, and yes, it's explosive. It's an armed warhead. Orcs spend lives like the Imperium does, but they have fun with it.
Stormboy's going for Valkyrie 3 and 6. Keep us in position, right?
Again, of course, this doesn't actually work, but they think it does. They're pretty sure it's fine, so it's fine.
Captain, starboard side.
Okay. No. He was requesting that I stop shooting him. The answer is absolutely not. I saw a piece. I guess it was just debris. And it won't let me activate MAD. We can't afford to be mad right now. Sir? Get out of here. Yeah, they are. Had 9 of those behind a building, lobbing hell to the enemy. Yeah, 9 fucking basilisks. Just nuts. We made it. We're on a bridge. This won't be the last time that we're on a bridge, but we are going to have to fight our way on through this. And remember, Titus's plan is to
Valkyrie 2 is down.
bait the war boss.
Immediate transport.
We're on approach, Captain.
Yes, it is. Oh, they took my axe. I'm stuck with the chainsword for right now. That's okay. We have plenty of fodder, honestly. We'll be alright. Bop. Oh, well, he just regular died.
Destroy them!
Something interesting about the orc there that we just popped. His friend was doing a thing called mortaring, and this is an actual thing that you can do to remedy a jam in a firearm in real life. You grip the charging handle, make sure your head is clear of the barrel, and so is everyone else's. Whack that thing buttstock first on the ground until you can get the handle to fucking cycle. Not the handle, but the bolt itself. Where are we at now? We just got some more berserkers coming in, that's fine. We remember my friend the Melt-A-Gun. We're trying to be a little bit more footloose and fancy-free with some of our special weapons, because last time we played very, very, very conservatively with those, and it was to our detriment. There we are. And I do want this guy gone, or at least not able to shoot at me as regularly. We've reached the spot that they want us to reach, so that's good. We should be full-on mad soon, too.
What is the Inquisitor's status?
The remainder of the squad to the Calcus facility.
Very good.
Hey, without any fucking reticle.
Farewell, Captain.
Farewell.
Return to base.
Yeah, see you later.
Damned orc flyers cost me too many good men and too many gunships. We'll be hard-pressed to defend the outpost.
Thank you. And good luck, Lieutenant.
Oh, hey guys, you made it.
Where is it?
I got it, chill out.
What are we waiting for then? Further delay is intolerable.
Further delay is intolerable.
Yes. Come. There's no time to waste.
Well, Sidonus has been keyed in that something is amiss, hasn't he? Way to use that noggin, buddy. I'm proud of you. You had a thought. Yeah, I should wait for that to reset us. Yeah, there we go. That's on me for being impatient. There it is. Now, there's probably a big one coming soon if memory serves, and boy, I sure hope it does. It wasn't that long ago that I did this. There we go. And so, as we continue through here, you can kind of see how the game progresses and how it flows. I do want to impress that it's really a shame that we never got to see more of this, more of the way that they were doing things. Hang on, there's something that can happen to him that's... There. See, I didn't have to do anything. Oh, these are their landing crafts, by the way. We hadn't taken a close-up look of the orc rocks. R-O-K-K, in case you were wondering how they were spelled. That's a hatch. There's kind of a habitable spot on the inside of this, and they just kind of fucking bolted rockets to the outside of this space debris, basically. And they use this as a landing craft. That's orcs. Anyway, like I was saying, it's a shame that we never got to see more of this, because this is, I think, the first 40K video game that is an action title that wasn't total shit. Because we've definitely spoken at some length about how the next one is going to hurt. It's going to hurt me, it's going to hurt you, it's going to hurt anyone that, God forbid, stumbles upon this in the future. And it's going to hurt in ways that are just baffling. I'm not sure what Games Workshop thinks they're doing when they license their stuff out, but I wish they would just fight all of their instincts, because, I mean, goddamn. Oh boy, I have another one that's fucking dull that we could go through too. It was done by Strumon. We remember Strumon for when I played through I, right? Does that sound fun? Every 40k game? No, not every. What we have access to probably, and likely not Dawn of War, because I just don't really think that's streamable. It's not that I don't like Dawn of War. I do. I think Dawn of War is great. One of my most played titles, period. But me, you know, building things on a tech tree in a fucking RTS is not entertaining. But of course we won't be doing them all at once either. We'll do, like I said, the stuff that I've got immediate access to, because funds are limited. We are a microscopic channel, and that means I have regular people money, not Streamlad money, that I can simply dump into this project and write off as a tax expense. Not even to suggest that most streamers have any kind of excess capital. They don't. But you know, it's harder for me to justify it. So we got this one, we got Fire Warrior on tap, which I already got it working. We might do Mechanicus, because that at least has a narrative that I can comment on and things that I can talk about. We will at least look at. I make no promises about finishing it. Fucking Space Hulk. The witch keeps whispering Eisenhorn, but oh my god.
My research produces a minimal weapon.
Fucking
ways should be accessible.
That might be fun to look at. We'll see. Dawn of War 2. Maybe Dawn of War 2. That's certainly more narrative focused, and we can talk a little bit about the Blood Angel, or the fucking Blood Ravens, and what that kind of homebrew chapter means for the franchise, and how it is that Relic made 40k in some way, shape, or form kind of their own. But then some of the things that we reference in Dawn of War 2, you probably want Dark Crusade under your belt for, so that you know who the fuck Davian Thule is and why he matters. Honestly, you also want Soulstorm, because they fucking reference Kaurava too, and how it was a mess. Stop fucking around. But we'll navigate our path. It's not going to be all 40k games all the time, because, well, not only are they a finite resource, I just have other interests. After Fire Warrior, we'll probably do stuff that isn't 40k, but is messy in its own ways. I think it bears looking into. Did you get them, or are you just, yeah, you're just kind of flinging things, aren't you? I can't trust my squad for anything. I have to remind myself of that. Yeah, good placement, Leandros. You really nailed it. But yeah, you know, some stuff we'll definitely skip. Like, I don't have a particular reason to get into like, what the fuck, Mark of Chaos and stuff like that. It ain't in the cards. Maybe a short video bit sometime in the future about them. Space Hulk is a lot more fun in multiplayer with friends. Yeah, I mean, so is fucking skipping rocks. You know what I mean? I can't attribute the fun of something to the game if what I need is to hang out with my friends. Then what I'm doing is hanging out with my friends. It's not the game that's fun. Likewise, we'll see if we do Darktide when it comes out. I don't have any intentions on doing Vermintide. Cause, again, it's a fucking... After the first moment or two, you get it. And there's not much to say. It's hams for dead, is what it is. If Space Hulk with friends is basically a completely different game. Nah, but it's the same game. I'm glad you had fun, don't get me wrong. I don't want you to not have fun, and please don't take this as an endorsement to ignore things that you enjoy. Enjoy. It's still dull.
Is at my research lab, but the energy pulse,
at least for my experience.
Conduits from the lab to the orbital spire.
Okay, so he's got conduits from the lab that go up to the spire that sends the signal. That's the spire. That's where we're going. It's kind of a nice skybox, right? I like it. Alright. He's gonna have to open this door, while outside we all get on the floor.
Time to override the lock, Captain.
Understood.
Do it. I already picked up the melt-a-gun. Go. Because they coming. Oh. Some of them are dead and floating. What the fuck was that? Oh. You shot me. I thought I was being shot from that direction. And so you know how this goes. We have to hold this door while Drogon fucks around, maybe forever, and eventually it'll be open, and then we'll be able to walk through. I had mentioned previously as well, the plot for this isn't necessarily great. It's fine. They're not doing anything special or taking very many chances. It's really just that it was capably done at all, which is what makes Space Marine stand out among 40k action-centric games. The history of this franchise in video game format, this franchise that seems built for video games, frankly, is so sad and so strange, and you'll know why when we get to our next title. Am I done? Oh no, y'all are fucking around with one over there. Then there's more coming that way. Well, come on then. Boop. 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 Boop.
Kill the Space Marines!
I hear you. I'm just wondering if you're gonna, like, actually get here. Sometimes it takes a little bit for them to show the fuck up, right? And this guy we can just kind of do our stun loop on and eventually get his chunk that he shaved off of us right back. Oh, he decided to throw me. We're leaving anyway, so that's fine. Last time we lingered because I got caught up in the murder. It's easy to end up with the blinders on. Touch.
It is. With a few modifications, it also makes an ideal firing tower.
Okay.
The energy pulse should not damage the spire.
You do not sound confident.
Improvisation and experimentation go hand in hand.
Well, then it's not really ideal, is it? If you don't know the specific tolerances of the tower and what it can take as far as energy output, it's not really fucking ideal, is it? You fraud. That's the Xenos for you. Soldier and scientist both, he says. He built the fucking thing, he doesn't even know how it works. Found it. Where's the other one? I still hear snarls. That's 2. There's another one coming in. Now there isn't. Okay. Yep. But gimme. I missed. Or he died. I'm not sure which. Hi, you got things to say? I'm sorry? There we go. In case the microphone didn't pick it up, at this point in time, Pi had decided that it was a good time to start ringing a bell and saying yeah to himself. He's real fond of bells. Didn't see that one. I'll take that health back, though. Thanks for hopping around and waiting in the meantime, though, bud. Really appreciate it. Okay. There we are. And we're just about through these guys. Hey, we made it. Oh, hang on. Don't tear me to bits. Oh, one more rocket guy. I think that's all of them. Looking like it. Alright. We're still feeling good. We're still looking good. That's not like an ugly man. Titus isn't an ugly man, I don't think. He is still 4 cows stapled together, but, you know, beggars choosers. His neck looks like it's kind of squished in that, fucking cowling, though, doesn't it? When he flexes it, like if he looks up, he's got kind of that neck lip overhang. Not a good look, so like the standard Instagram angles wouldn't work out for him, but straight on, I think he'd be alright. He'll do just fine on 40k Tinder with his junk that doesn't work. Oh, that's something else that we need to cover. So, we had made some mention. Yes, they do. Yeah, yeah. It's the only way to go, but thank you. In our conversation here, Assorted Fruits and I, about the Warhammer 40k fans. He's had positive experiences, or she, I don't mean to assume. I'm not sure. Assorted Fruits. So, he, she, neither, both, whichever. They've had positive experiences, and I haven't. Who knows why this is? Could just be that I am naturally unlucky, which we know I am.
A few defenses.
What comprises a few, Inquisitor?
How did you get there?
Servo turrets, mostly.
Set to eliminate orcs?
Set to eliminate anything with the
Leandros, calm down.
Within their range.
Oh, it worked. He heard me. I'm a dude, so no worries. I've had both good and bad. Okay, yeah, I've had predominantly bad experiences. 40k seems to attract the wrong sorts of people, and it's the people that see that there's like a fascist theocracy in play, and think that that's a good thing, and it's not. The Imperium aren't the good guys. They tell you they are, but they're definitely not. They're bad people doing bad things. It's kind of a setting without good guys. It's just a matter of what flavor of bad you want. Now, this is an armored transport. If it wasn't on fire, I'd say it's probably still serviceable, but it looks like it's wedged under this blast door. It may still be serviceable. It depends on what's going on in the back with the engine. Anyway. This also means that the standard stuff of people that are attracted to fascism rears its head. One of the most strange and irksome, I find, is claiming that there are simply no homosexuals or anything of the sort in 40K. Dog. Nah. The concept of the Space Marines themselves already pretty gay. They're just big beef men who live with only men, and they all love each other very deeply, extremely deeply. Their bonds are spiritual and eternal. And if that doesn't sound like a love story for the ages, then, well, I think we listen to different love stories.
Need to shut them all down.
Didn't we? Is that another rail one, or no? Okay, we're good. As he stated, yeah, the only good guys are the far side enclave. Yeah. I'd even say that the majority of Tau society is all right. They're not the worst option. You could do worse. But everyone else kinda sucks. I believe I got it. I did. We gotta shoot turrets in here. Oh, there's a servo skull I didn't get. The witch heard I have to shoot turds in here. No, just turrets. In fact, I'm pretty sure Titus is on a catheter. And that his waste gets recycled within that suit. I don't think he poops. Which means, of course, like I was saying, those buns are for other things, baby. But, you know, don't feel put off by the people that enjoy this Lost Things if you encounter them. If you encounter them and they're not me. There's something there for you no matter who you are. That's not to say that it's not a setting without its baggage. It is. It is. It's got baggage. Terrible, horrible baggage. Like a lot of things that have been around since the 80s. That being said, hopefully we see more in the future that's a little bit more forward-thinking. There's even some stuff that's borderline that I don't know that I would consider necessarily horrible, but it's not great. The white scars in general, like we can't have an entire sub-faction that's like Mongolian raiders, but that's not good. There's a fair amount of Orientalism in the Tau and some other things here and there, and it's run-of-the-mill, they didn't know better kind of stuff, if that makes sense. Not so much purposeful, mean-spirited, discriminatory sorts of things. Of course, that's not to say that that excuses it. It doesn't, but view it through a lens of context, as with anything.
We are escaped Xenos specimens.
Why does it think we're escaped Xenos specimens? It has gene sniffers.
And I can shut it down.
You turned it off to begin with. If you haven't picked up on it, Lost Things, you know, it's a trap. This is, like I said, it's a pretty by-the-numbers plot. You know where it's going. Oh, is that a pro-Slaanesh argument? Okay. Well, let's engage that theory. Assorted Fruits would like to note that Slanesh is also just a pleasure god, and it wants any way to get pleasure. Yes, but it's entirely self-centered. Your pleasure at the expense of someone else is no pleasure at all. There's also some things that can be said for pain as a useful teacher and evolutionary tool. If everything feels good, what use is there in doing any one thing in particular? At least none on the simple animal biological level, right? So, that would also, incidentally, be how a lot of Imperial citizens end up worshipping that particular, what is their thing? Cows and crab claws, basically? Sometimes marble. That particular chaos consciousness is that Imperial life fucking sucks dick. I would also like to note that, Drogon's specimen things here are empty. They're not.
Specimens, cages, operating theaters.
There's nothing in there.
Reeks of Xenos filth.
That is the business of the Inquisition, Ultramarines.
It's also something you know, Sidonis.
Ultramarines.
Open. So yeah, life as an Imperial citizen sucks, and here comes this, crab princess that says, do you want to go into the fucking crab den and just bone forever? While I play, like, music or something, and of course they're gonna be like, yeah, totally, that's what I want. That sounds way better than this. And there you have it. Ooh. So, I mentioned in the first one that we don't really change bolters, and this is not a new bolter. This is new ammunition. Fires adamantine cord Kraken ammunition. The gist of it is that it's like any other armor-penetrating thing that we've talked about in the past. When we did gun chat, there's a jacket around a hardened penetrator, and it fucking flings that while the rest of the round does whatever it does. In the case of the bolter being that it's a small rocket-propelled grenade, the rest of that round explodes. So, another thing that was mentioned is that racism is literally one of the biggest things in 40k. It is, and xenophobia in general is one of the biggest things in 40k. It's not necessarily someone is saying we should go ahead and off people of X race. It's that if you're not human, you're on the shit list as far as humanity is concerned, largely. We're gonna go to the firing array. And like I said, this unfortunately draws in the wrong sorts of people. You know, the kind of people that would make, say, an army themed after the KKK. Or, more commonly, throw a whole bunch of SS symbols all over their Imperial Guard. That's not what the setting is. And it's not what the people who enjoy this are. Those are just garden variety shitbags and chuds and should be treated as such. If you like 40k, it does not mean that you're a Nazi, nor does it mean that you associate with Nazis. We've triggered Mad to regain our health. We got caught out of position with these turrets. That'll just take forever. We'll stand here and regenerate. There we go. Fighting these turrets is not really entertaining, is it? This is a missed opportunity of a place. You know, we could have been introduced to like a couple of Tyranids, some confused Eldar trying to break out, a lot of aliens that we just don't get to see because, I don't know, they didn't have time, I would guess. It seems like a you have a due date of blah kind of thing. In chat, yes, we do, yep. So the mention there is humans do sometimes collaborate with Eldar. We do, yeah. And it's largely when it benefits us both, and it's like there's a whole fucking treaty we have with them, which isn't unlike the treaty that the men and elves had in Lord of the Rings, because it's Games Workshop. You can, if you look at it for half of a second, you know what it is that they're cribbing from. that if shit's looking real bad, we stop fucking with each other and start solving the problem, and then we can go back to fucking with each other. So you'll see Eldar and the Imperium team up time to time. It usually works out good. You'll even see Imperial and Tau team up time to time, because the Tau are largely alright with it. They don't harbor any kind of specific hatred for us.
Xenos detected.
They just kind of think that we're loud and dumb, and they're right. But even so, it's... alliances are somewhat rare, unless they're building up towards what I think is like a setting reboot. Kind of like they did with Fantasy recently. All the same, there's the standard kind of trappings of a totalitarian fascist sort of mindset. It's unfortunate that a non-zero portion of the people that end up gravitating towards the property are the exact sorts of people that I don't think anyone necessarily wants to meet, anyone with any kind of heart or brain. Did we do it? It looks like we did it. Yeah, this looks done. Touch. Touch. I think the Tyranids would be an issue. I don't know. I think that it would be fine to show off one of them in one of these tanks. Drogon is an Ordo Xenos Inquisitor, and, well, we know about, you know, the Ultramarines' history with hive fleets. I think it would have been appropriate. They tend to...
Command room is beyond those doors.
They tend to gloss over the Tyranids, which are, again, if you look at them, lost things, you'll know what they are. They're xenomorphs from Alien. That's it. That's how they behave. That's largely how they reproduce, alongside like a sort of like generational interbreeding thing. It's a little Lovecraft, it's a little bit Geiger. You take the cliff notes from both and you get there. But seeing one in a tube or having it break out and attempt to maul you, well, Sidonis goes, "What the hell was that?" And, or it makes a mention that, you know, we've encountered these creatures before and blah 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 blah. It seems like they just didn't think to. A still model in a tube would have been an easier thing to prepare, but no dice. More ammo. Supreme Fury. We have even better Mad. We gain Fury at an increased speed.
Very good. All the security measures will be down shortly, Captain. I'm afraid they were the only thing keeping the orcs outside, however.
But you will be able to fire the weapon.
Indeed.
We had better do so quickly. This place will be awash with orcs before long.
Of course.
Okay.
Security systems disabled.
Okay, is it though?
Recognized.
Is it?
Releasing safeguards.
Is it?
Please proceed to the generator room.
So now we're in here. He says that this shit is disabled. We'll find out. Let's grab some health real quick. What was it? Mainly play Blood Angels. Whole chapter killed by them. Yeah, they've had a bad time of it, haven't they? The Tyranids are bad news for everybody. Largely because... Oh, there was a bomb.
Spend it well.
That'll teach me to read and slap at the same time. Anyway, they're pretty bad news for everybody, just because it's...
All the security measures will be down short.
If it's a logistics game, which Warfare tends to be, the Tyranids have just about everybody beat. Anywhere they go, they have food. Anywhere they go, they have ground to go to.
Indeed.
They don't have production lines. They don't have
course.
morale issues. None of that is required. And they're much quicker to reproduce than, say, a Necron is.
Please proceed to the generator room.
So, you know, it's... they're set up to be one of the major problems within the 40k universe, and then the writers will forget about them for a little bit until they need to clear the roster, such as it were. They take the whole beset on all sides thing a little bit far sometimes, because, like, okay, but how do you move such a massive fucking group of things that quickly across space and, you know, specifically without being seen?
Place the canister into his cradle inside the power core, Captain.
I will, as soon as it lets me.
Only if you drop the canister.
Better not have butterfingers. Touch.
Very good, Captain. Your time carrying my power source is finally at an end.
Do we believe that for half a second?
Stand clear. Psychic Scourge firing sequence commencing. Alarm.
There we go. Apologize for the pause. A small amount of coffee was needed.
Emergency containment.
Damnable thing!
What do you need me to do, Inquisitor?
You'll need to manually
open this door.
start the array alignment.
Okay, I will.
Forcibly, if you must.
I'm doing it.
In the firing chamber!
Yeah, I'm already doing it. I did it. In the time it took you to say, get on the elevator and go to the firing chamber, because you're bad at giving instructions, I did it.
Cut the main conduits to the firing tower. You must reconnect the conduits, Captain, or we're facing an overload that will rip this planet apart.
Okay. Assorted fruits. They have a lot of Zerg and alien inspiration. Other way around. The Tyranids came first, the Zerg came after. But, yes, on the H.R. Giger, I've heard it pronounced both ways, inspiration. Yep, they're xenomorphs.
No mercy.
I want to say the Tyranid are sometime like a 90-ish, and I want to say StarCraft was what, 94? Don't quote me on that. I'm gonna have to check that in a second or two, because it'll fucking bug me. Here, let's check this real quick, because I know how you all love live Google. Live Google. I gotta make a fucking panel for live Google. Yeah, like a screen to switch to for live Google. No, not the remastered. I need... StarCraft, even later, 1998, March 31st. And the Tyranid first appeared where? Because, like I said, it would fucking bug me. 1990. So 8 years before Blizzard ripped them off wholesale again. Don't get me wrong, I like Warcraft, I like StarCraft. StarCraft less so as time goes on. I thought Wings of Liberty was good, everything else was horseshit. And similarly with Warcraft, it's fine, but it ain't my favorite.
Now, proceed to the main control panel.
But it's fairly obvious to me. I'm fairly certain that this is also true. I don't think it's rumor. I'm pretty sure I did read it on like Wikipedia or some shit like that. That Warcraft happened because they lost the license from Games Workshop to do a Warhammer game. Similarly, they had been in talks to do stuff with 40k, and well, there's StarCraft for you.
Firing sequence in progress.
I'm doing it. I'm firing the thing.
Firing now. Alarm.
We shot a big purple beam and we fucked up that spire.
Look at the spire.
Yeah, it's cool. Looks neat.
I've been looking for you, Space Marine. You've got something of mine.
Well, I think it's mine. So there. Okay. Now everything's a really pretty color.
Why didn't it work?
Damn that Drogon! Never trust the Inquisition!
Stand fast, Ultramarines.
I mean, that's a fair stance, though. Even though it's not Drogon's fault. But you shouldn't.
Was that supposed to hurt?
I don't think so. But then I didn't really know what it was supposed to do.
Chaos demons! How is this possible?
Coronate bloodletters specifically. So all of the Chaos Gods have their own sort of stylings, and these guys are from Khorne. One can only hope they're as down with the sickness. This is Nemeroth. He's got tubes. I like his head grabby thing. I don't know what it's for. I think it's supposed to be something similar to an interface hood, like you'll see on some people in Terminator armor, which is what he's wearing, by the way. But what purpose would this serve? It doesn't look like it's part of his head. His Terminator armor is out of scale. Yeah, it is. But then so are his hands.
I have served you well, Lord Nemeroth. Traitor.
Oh no, the reveal. There he goes, huffing that dust.
I see. My servant did all that I hoped and more. But he would never have succeeded without you.
Yeah.
Captain Titus.
Yeah, but what's my middle name?
Thanks.
Assface.
Brave Space Marine.
There it is.
We have broken through to this reality. The blessed gateway. Clever fool.
I don't know what the things are that he's got hooked up to his claws there.
Titus of the Ultra.
It's a projector of some sort, but I don't know that I've seen that.
Which impressed my servant to no end. Ah, you think the Inquisitor a traitor. But Drogon has been dead since before you first met. You have been used by my puppet of flesh and bone. I ain't so easy to kill.
Well, it's a real slap fest of big old meat here. So they're just gonna have it out. In the meantime, like he's almost Dreadnought size. Terminator armor was originally referred to as tactical Dreadnought armor, so I get where they got that from, but frankly, the scale of a lot of things is all over the place.
We need an exit.
We do.
To the lift.
To the lift. But not right now. For now, we're going to take a look at something else and then give it a bit for the evening. We'll resume from right here next time. We'll quit mission. It's fine. We quick saved. What I wanted to take a look at, because we'll be taking a look at its unfortunately malformed younger sibling at the tail end of this. Not that, but this. So, I mentioned it has a multiplayer. Here you got your game modes. There's also a mode that allows you to control a dreadnought, but that's for money, and I ain't got the money. Nor am I going to shovel money at a dead project like this. No matter how much it is that I pour into it, it's not going to change the fact that it's done. You can say that I didn't play over much, but I played some. And some of the things that are unlockable in the customizer only count for specific game modes, which again weren't to my taste. These are your horde defenses. These are your death matches. What's important is dress up. It was always dress up. Always. And it always will be. That's largely what's important about a whole lot of 40k anything, and games in general. If you can fiddle with it and make it yours, well, you're going to be much more attached, aren't you? And this is a system that not only encourages you to, but is willing to sell you parts kits and all kinds of shit to fund that that addiction of yours. And it's also an easy way to make money should you decide to make a 40k game. If you do nothing but sell people fun shit to stick on themselves, you have infinite cash. Fucking trust me. Games Workshop is a train wreck of a company, and we have kept them in business. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the amount of money that someone competent could make with a fan base that dedicated? It boggles the mind. Exterminatus with friends is fun. Any horde game with friends is fun. Yeah, pretty much. It's fun to hang out with your friends, and honestly, the mechanics of Space Marine in and of itself are nice. I like the way this plays. So, of course, you can customize your loadout. You get your default boys up here. You get your tactical. That's what Titus is. You fuck around with that. You get your Devastator. This is what the Witch played. Heavier armor. Big gun. You get your assault, and this is what I played. This is a specific trait that allows you to one-arm a bolter. You get your custom loadouts. You get the idea. You can fuck with 2 traits, then plus this at a time. Make sense? Makes sense. This is where the good shit is. So, you have your options of saving appearance slots. You also have chapter armor downloadables. Some of them came with the game, some of them did not. And I mentioned that they all come... Well, the Space Marines come in flavors. We got our blues. We got our salamanders. If you like lizard themes and being a guy on the inside here that looks kind of like the texture and coloration of these pauldrons here, there's a flaw in their skin color changing thing that allows other Space Marines to live relatively comfortably in like high radiation UV environments. That is busted, and they all look like charcoal. And I'm not just being insensitive. I am saying that they look like carbon. That is their texture. You get your Blood Angels. These are your vampire lads. They're also mostly dead at this point, but don't worry. The fans like them well enough, they'll be back. This is your Legion of the Damned, in case 40k wasn't edgy enough for you. Paint some hot rod flames on your shit and put a skull motif on it. These guys were lost in the warp for a little while, and then they came back out, and they got like some kind of like wasting sickness. But they've decided to go down swinging, and that's respectable. Pretty sure it's not a flaw, since I know they got dipped into the volcano. Well, I mean, the gland isn't functioning right, so it's not necessarily a flaw given where they live. We're talking about the salamanders here. But it is an example of the modifications not working anymore. Just like wanting blood and going fucking nutter butter sometimes. It's not supposed to work like this. It's not supposed to work like that either. These boys, they like the machine bits. That's what you got. For the vast majority of them, the Primark is dead. For some of them, the Primark is either gone, sleeping, and for the Blues, he's actually back and doing stuff. The Black Templars, like I said, racist even for 40k standards. Whereas other people will go, alright, well, I don't like it, but we'll help the Eldar out. The Black Templars are like, no psychics, no aliens, no none of that shit. If we see you, we fucking kill you. Even other Imperial citizens are asking them to please calm down on the elf racism just for a second. The Black Templars, from what I can understand, also don't have like a notable gene seed flaw, kind of like these boys up here. They work. Their stuff works. The Iron Hands also mostly work, but they like the machine bits better. Blood Ravens, these are the Relic Homebrew chapter. They're very secretive. They got a high number of psychics in their group. A lot of librarians in the Blood Ravens. They're also absolutely guilty of some kind of heresy at any given time. These fucking dudes. Let me tell you about them. They're such shitheads when it comes to like going, beans, my librarian's possessed. It's like every 10 seconds over there. They can't be trusted on their own. Someone needs to keep watch over them. And then I told you that we came in hairy as well, and that's the Space Wolves. I like his little paw print there. It's cute. Some of them look like Wolverine. Some of them look like wolves. They have a special sauce that they added to their Space Marine cocktail, quite literally called the Canis Helix, and you're supposed to drink it and then maybe turn into an animal and go mad. They don't do that anymore, as far as I know. Well, at least they don't do it en masse anymore, as far as I know, and they're another one that's mostly gone, kind of like these boys up here. So our vampires and werewolves are endangered people. You know, show your support, tweet Games Workshop or what the fuck ever. There are more appearances available if we go on over here. You know, you got your Ultramarines, you got your Dark Hunters, which are an offshoot. You got your Angels of Redemption, which are another offshoot. You got your Iron Hands, you got your Knights of the Griffin, you got your Relictors, Revilers, Space Wolves, Crimson Fists, Storm Giants, Raven Guard. These are the sad boys that come in crow flavor. Are you seeing what I'm getting at here? You got your Imperial Fists, you got your Angels Sanguine, your Taurians, your Marauders, your Stormlords, your Salamanders, your Blood Ravens, your Lions, your Templars, your Scorpions, your Omega Marines, Praetors of Orpheus, White Scars, Red Templars, Hawk Lords, Sons of Medusa, Blood Angels, Doom Eagles, Dark Angels, Sides of the Emperor. It's a fucking bunch. There's just, and it's the same on the other side of it. Let's flop over there real quick. Boop. Because I see some of them got mentioned. You got your Chief Warbands, you got your Iron Warriors, who are the only Chaos Marines that I appreciate. Perturabo is hilarious. That fucking prank he played on Dorn is gold. Here's an enormous fortress, you'll never fucking breach it, and at the end, the center of the fortress, which they assumed was going to be a big deal, was nothing. Fuck you, we left weeks ago. Hilarious. We got the Emperor's Children. These are the lines of coke off a hooker's ass dudes. Alpha Legion. Where do I even fucking start? Okay. So, the Alpha Legion is the only original founding chapter to have 2 Primarchs, and one of them was a secret. Shh. Alfarius and Omegon. Omegon, I don't care. There was only supposed to be one of them, is the point. But it turns out the fucking thing's split, and now there's 2. if you were ever wondering if, like, one of these factions had a faction that backstabbed every other faction while still belonging to it, it's these motherfuckers. They are in business for themselves, maybe? Because sometimes they also seem to backstab themselves out of shit, but it turns out that it was all part of the plan and they needed to lose in order to win later. They're that faction. I don't know what their aim is. I don't think Games Workshop knows what their aim is. Their fucking motif is Hydra. So, like, there may in fact be more than 2 Primarks. The Primark may in fact not even be a physical thing anymore so much as, like, an information pathogen. You get the idea of Alfarius, and eventually that is who you are, which isn't necessarily all that different from how Eldar Phoenix Warriors work, and that's kind of where I'm leaning with that. But if that's your thing, they got you. Death Guard, these are the Rot Boys. They stink. His helmet looks like Bubba Feet's. That's about it. No, they were at one point in time, like, real fucking stalwart dudes, and then they all got sick, and their armor got some boils. Nurgle is their patron, quite obviously, and that's... Again, for a primer, there's not much that you're going to need. And then we have the Chosen of Nemeroth, which is our representation of Chaos Undivided. They'll do anything for any one of the gods so long as they got the favor, you know? That's about it. When we get into the other appearances... Are you seeing what I'm saying? You got your Knights of Blood, you got your Iron Warriors, you got your Dark Wolves, your Alpha Legion, the Purge, World Eaters, the Faithless, Angels of Ecstasy, your Death Guard, your Blood Disciples, your Emperor's Children. Oh, less. Okay. Well, these guys were added after the fact, so that kind of makes sense. You got your Flawless Hosts, there's your Chosen of Nemeroth color scheme, your Black Legion, your Word Bearers, your Red Corsairs. There are as many of these fuckers as there are of the originals. Because over time, well, you know, they multiplied and they had their own little interfactional schisms. And, you know, hey, there you have it. Oh, it's confirmed that Dorn killed one of the Alpha Legion Primarchs. I mean, cool, but, like, what does dead mean for them, right? Like, does dead mean anything to Alfarius or Omegon? It's fucking... They're just gonna surface later as, like, a computer program or something. It's... That's how they get down. They like it that way. So... again, no matter what it is that you prefer as far as Space Marines go, you'll find a faction that kind of lines up with what it is that you're going for. They're versatile like that, and hey, go nuts if they're your thing. Alright. Okay, we are one part of the way caught up, so we'll go where we go. That was a lot of information this time, wasn't it? It helps to have someone fucking remind me of what it is that we were talking about, or lead me down tangents, as we have had. 'Cause, boy, there's a lot. There's a lot. And they're still adding more. There's even more now. A couple of Space Marines that we didn't mention. They also come in gold and silver. Gold hangs out on Terra and does their guard duty for a big old skeleton on a throne hooked up to machines. And silver are the militant wing of another branch of the Inquisition. The Ordo Malleus employs them. They are the Grey Knights. They typically also have the most kick-ass art assigned to them. If you Google Grey Knight, you'll see what Destiny was trying to be. And failing utterly to just, like, really fucking commit. A little bit too much Master Chief, a little bit not enough Space Knight, in my opinion, but we did Destiny 2 already. There you have it for now. Remember, things are going to hurt in the future, so prepare yourselves for that. Prepare. Be ready. Maybe it helps that you repeat the mantra that pain is weakness leaving you. It's not, though. It's not. That's a fun lie. But you could tell yourself that. Every 40k game I've played has completely ignored the Thousand Suns. Yeah. They didn't make an appearance here, did they? They're again one of the big ones. The Thousand Suns are basically all magic, and some of them are mummies. That's the Thousand Suns. So if you wanted mummy flavor, that's in there too. If you wanted to get that dustiness, you know, they like Zench. I can't account for their tastes. But yeah, they're pretty much dust, just in that armor. So I guess you could also say that they're like fucking Full Metal Alchemist themed, if you wanted to be retro with it. Like if you wanted to retrofit that theming, in that that's just a boy's soul bound to some fucking animate armor by magic. Alright. Well, while you ponder how bad this is going to hurt by the time we're done with it, I will leave you to wander alone for a bit. See ya.